But you have broken a story in Breitbart. You've broken a series of stories. One of them is called YouTube Admits It, YouTube Doubles Down. So let's start with this one. YouTube admits it meddled with abortion search results, but calls down-ranked videos misinformation. And show the next one. I'll read both headlines. YouTube doubles down, will censor recommended videos to stop misinformation. So tell us first about the abortion case. How did that come to your attention, that Google was hiding results from one side of that abortion debate? And our viewers don't need to, to have ESP to guess which side they were hiding. How did you learn about that?
So a while ago, at the end of December last year, a Slate journalist got in touch with YouTube to complain about, I call her a journalist, basically a left-wing activist playing in journalism. She contacted YouTube to complain about the prominence of pro-life videos in search results for the search term abortion. And what happened was, immediately after that, there was a significant change to the YouTube search results that the Slate writer has noted that pushed content from mainstream news organizations and left-wing news organizations, pro-abortion content, from Vice and BuzzFeed and the BBC and the CBC and other mainstream sources up the search rankings, and it pushed all the pro-life content down the rankings. And we were then contacted by sources within Google who gave us a list, a blacklist. That's not my terminology, that's YouTube's terminology. They call it a blacklist of so-called controversial search queries. And what we were told, based on the information we received, was that shortly after that Slate journalist contacted YouTube, they made an addition to that folder, to that file, rather, that added the terms abortion and abortions.
Huh, that's incredible.
What that did, it activated an algorithm that pushed mainstream sources up and pushed non-mainstream videos down. And the result of that was virtually all pro-life content was knocked out of the top 10 search results for abortion, which is significant because many people don't really go beyond the top 10 search results in any search engine.
Yeah. There's so many things in what you've said there that are shocking. Number one, your obvious point that most journalists, especially in BuzzFeed and Vice and Huffington Post, they're not really journalists, they're activists calling with journalist credentials to shake down a YouTube, saying, oh, I noticed that Tommy Robinson's on your website. Oh, I noticed that this website is using PayPal. I'm going to do a story on that unless you change it. So these journalists aren't reporting the news, they're trying to change the news by using their journalistic powers as a threat. Of course, the YouTubes, Twitters, Facebooks of the world are only happy to comply. It's always aiming one way. It's always leftist censorship of right-wing ideas. But what scares me is what else is being done that we don't know about? What other search terms are being hidden that we don't know about? Tell me what else was on this blacklist you received.
Well, we know that search terms related to the Irish abortion referendum were also on the blacklist. So they were meddling with pro-life and pro-abortion debates even before this journalist got in touch with them. There were a range of search terms related to terrorist attacks that were also on the blacklist. There was a search term related to Maxine Waters, a Democratic congresswoman who was also on the blacklist.
Really?
So they're actually interfering with search results on behalf of Democratic politicians now. And by the way, that's an interesting point you made about journalists behaving like activists. It really seems at the moment that journalists are kind of calling the shots at these tech companies, because the more recent change that YouTube announced that they're going to censor recommended searches happened just one day after a big BuzzFeed story on how recommended searches are supposedly leading to hyper-partisan content and misinformation.
That's an excerpt from the Ezra Levant Show. Every day I do a video monologue and then I interview an interesting guest, and then I end by reading my hate mail. But you've got to subscribe to it, which you can do at therebel.media/shows.